Why is the Switch 2 and Mario Kart World so expensive? Tariffs do have something to do with it, but that's not the whole picture. We talked to analysts who said that when setting the price of the Switch 2, Nintendo definitely was preparing for future tariffs. And then they happened right as the console was announced. But for non-US, non-Japan countries, the price also has to be similar. If they were significantly cheaper elsewhere, then the US would just import from them. And yes, it's true, Nintendo is selling a much cheaper version of the Switch 2 in Japan for just $333 US, but it's region locked to prevent people from importing it. Nintendo only did this for Japan since it has such a large audience there. Yes, adjusted for inflation, a Switch 1 in 2018 would have cost almost $400 today, but is that enough to explain why Mario Kart is jumping from $60 to $80? Experts say part of the reason is to also help prepare for expected future tariffs and more inflation. If a new tariff drops tomorrow or inflation suddenly jumps up and $449 is now too low of a price for the console, the higher price of the game could help offset that. If it doesn't work out, no big deal, they can just drop the price. They did it before when the 3DS started at $250 and dropped to $170 just 6 months later. Manufacturing costs have also risen, making it more expensive to make consoles and games, not just for Nintendo, but for everyone. Consoles tend to be sold at a loss and make up for it in game sales, which also helps explain the high price of Mario Kart. That's not to mention that there are other hidden costs. The flash memory suspected to be used in cartridges is pretty pricey, and it takes a lot of man-hours to make sure that games are backwards compatible. Let's also not forget that Nintendo games have historically been not cheap, especially since they don't pursue any in-game monetization like Sony and Microsoft. I think we'd all love for that price to be $60, but $60 just doesn't have the same kind of power now as it did in 2017. This is just the world we live in now, and despite all this, it doesn't make the wallet hurt any less.